The town of Hooker takes pride in the determination of its founders, a determination to survive the early years and build a community in no man's land. Today, the citizens of Hooker are determined to maintain strong rural values and superb schools as they foster economic growth. On October 13th, voters have an opportunity to support improvements designed to secure the Hooker School District and meet the growing need.
The grade school building is in great shape and will last for a number of years without any significant work done on that. But the high school, junior high building is going to, at some point in time in the next few years, be uninhabitable.
We need something that we can manage in day to day. And a 1940 Chevrolet is not what we're able to manage in day to day. And that's where I feel like in our building, it's not even a 1940, we're looking at a 1919 model. It's just not functional for day to day. We have too many things where we have had to just get by. Size, with repairs, with building for the future, which allowing for technology changes, which looking for science labs, for just, I could go on, and I feel like we just need something that allows us to change and adapt for the future. And right now where we're at is a struggle too.
Voters are being asked to support an $18,875,000 bond issue proposal to fund construction of a new high school and junior high building.
Because I work with Oklahoma Education, we know how hard it is to come up with the money to build a school. We know that the students deserve something that they can be proud of and that it'll last. So one of the things we do is we hit a maintenance-free building. We put finishes in the building that will take the abuse of day-to-day traffic and use. That's why the commons area in the center of the building for both junior high and high school. We try to make it appealing where they will be proud to be in that space, proud to have lunch there, proud to have special events there, and it'll be a place they can call their own. But like I say, at the same time, I work in Oklahoma Education, so I know that we've got to make every dollar count.
Well, we're here. We're growing. We're announcing to our citizens, we're announcing to our kids, we're announcing to the community that, hey, we care.
When voters opposed the more aggressive bond issue in March 2015, the Board of Education gathered input from the community, re-examined the most critical needs of the district, and considered the consequences of overlooking the shortage of classroom space and the safety issues of the current 100-year-old building. The initial bond issue for $25,740,000 carried with it an estimated tax increase of 71.41%. The board is pleased to propose this revised bond issue totaling $18,875,000 with an estimated tax increase of 56.67% to be repaid over 18 years.
After the first issue failed, we went back and looked at it, and it seemed like a lot of the issue is the rate on the tax increase, and we looked for ways where we could maybe cut that down, make it a little more affordable, at the same time still have a good quality school to put the kids in.
We had to balance between what the need is and maybe what we were wanting a little bit more. And in talking to people around town, they said, we need classrooms, we understand that. The amount of the bond was a little bit scary, and it was scary for all of us. It didn't change the fact that that we need a school.
Is it perfect? No, but nothing's ever going to be perfect. Where we're at right now is not perfect. But if we don't do something, we're going to fall back. We're going to become that place that was left behind.
This bond proposal still addresses overcrowding, ADA safety, hazardous materials, and campus security issues.
Sometimes kids leave the building 3 or 4 times as an individual student. it's just hard to think if something would go on to make sure we have everybody safe.
You can't even have a kid in a wheelchair or a kid with crutches or a kid that has some type of special need. They can't go to the bathroom because there's a foot step up. If they're doing a science thing on the second floor and something goes wrong and the fire alarm goes off, you're going to have 15, 20 kids walking down that fire escape. You know, even in the case of an alarm, an exercise, having 5 or 10 kids out there on that thing scares me.
My concern about the existing building is that it's really not safe.
The practice gym and auditorium have been dropped from this proposal.
By taking those out, we just made a leaner, more functional project that doesn't have some of the amenities we would have liked to have had in the new building, but they're things that school officials and voters could decide to add at a later time.
Currently, classrooms are overcrowded, and increases in enrollment are expected to continue.
We're going to have to do it at some point. I mean, this school is not going to last forever, and it's probably already exceeded what anybody thought it would to begin with.
When I look at the Hooker's existing high school building, one of the things I did is went through this ADA checklist of existing facilities, and I turned all the pages and went through all the checklists, and unfortunately Hooker meets none of the criteria in the ADA checklist. But if we brought that building up to code, you wouldn't recognize it as it is now. The front steps that looks historical and all would have to be totally taken out, and we'd put an elevator tower there. And so when we were through, you would spend a whole lot of money and have a very outdated building because the classrooms are too small, the hallways are too small, and the school doesn't have what it needs to function in the 21st century.
It's financially difficult today to take an existing building, completely renovate it and bring it up to code, because the building codes have evolved every 3 years to the extent that the basic building systems, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, now require so many pieces to meet a certain standard that by the time it's all said and done, you've spent 25% more than the cost of a new building.
We're just out of space, and we need more room. Even if I felt like this building was totally adequate in what we needed to stay in, we're out of space. Even if I felt like it was adequate from safety point of view, we're out of space.
As with the March proposal, the new school is planned to be located just south of the football, gymnasium, and softball complex, and designed to reflect the character and history of Hooker. The building will include a junior high classroom wing and a high school classroom wing. Students will share the band and choral rooms, PE facilities, art room, and a weight room. The building will also include a library, kitchen, and common area, VOAG facility, technology classrooms, safe rooms, and administrative offices. The new building will not include a practice gym or an auditorium. The board understands and realizes the impact this proposal will have on the taxpayers, and made every effort to assure the district and the community will receive the greatest benefit from every tax dollar.
The proposed location for the new building is actually an excellent site in that water, sewer, and access are readily available. The proposed site is relatively flat, has no existing structures on it. There'll be no demolition expenses. There's plenty of room around the building for emergency vehicles. It's easily accessible for everyday events. It'll be a single-story building, so in today's world it's relatively inexpensive to build. There's no fire stairs, no elevators, that type of thing.
How we handle this situation right now is going to help determine what Hooker is in 15, 20 years.
The school's the backbone of the small town,
Absolutely.
and if you lose your school, you're going to lose your town. And I don't want to lose our town. I mean, we'll have a stop in the road here, but it won't be a town.
And that's my biggest fear, is that we just continually slowly degrade while people around us, schools around us, develop a little more for the future. And I think that's why at this point we need something just to allow us to adapt, just to allow us to be able to stay current and be safe.
The proposed school bond issue totaling $18,875,000 will be repaid over 18 years through an ad valorem tax. Based on current Oklahoma state statute, school bonds are the primary funding method for meeting capital improvement projects.
People thought, well, the school board needed to go get grants. The school board needed to go get, help from the state. It's our school. And it's not the federal government's. It's not the state government's. And they're not going to help. It's not, the laws aren't written that way.
With no increase in many years, the current millage of 55.60 for Hooker schools is the same rate as Optima and Strait, and is the lowest when compared with other districts in the region.
Our mill levy in relation to our peer schools out in this area, all the schools to the Panhandle, we're the lowest there is.
None of us like additional taxes. None of us like to have somebody else telling us what we want to do and have to do. But there also becomes a time to where you have to do what's best for the people coming after you. And I honestly believe that this is what you have to do.
The proposed bonds will bring about an increase of 31.51 mils for the new school building, with a resulting tax increase of 56.67%.
And that's still a substantial increase. But if you look at it in terms of what it adds up to per month for a lot of us, for homeowners and people on fixed income and all of that, it is manageable.
How will this millage increase impact taxpayers? If your total property tax was $100 last year, the proposed bonds would increase your tax by $56.67 per year, or just $4.72 per month. This total increase would be dedicated to the Hooker School District. If, for example, your annual property tax is $500 per year, you should anticipate an annual increase of $283.36, or just $23.61 per month, to fund the new building proposed for Hooker schools.
At some point in time, someone is going to have to pay a very costly price for waiting. And you can wait. There's no doubt about that. But in the long run, you're going to pay more.
They lost their businesses. Some of them have lost their schools, and the ones that have lost their schools have lost their community identity. And we can't have a school without an infrastructure that allows us to have a school.
I want my granddaughter to want to come back here and have her kids educated here. I want people to want to come to Hooker. I believe it's something that once we start this, it can be something that everybody can buy into, everybody can be proud of, everybody can get behind. It can be something that we can pass on to our future generation, and it can be a huge drawing point to Hooker and to our district.
And we would love for you to get out and support our school, to give us an opportunity to be prepared for the future, to grow, and to feel like our students are safe. So just want to encourage you to get out and be supportive and vote for the school bond on October 13th.
Well, I would hope that folks will understand we're trying to do something that we believe is good and right for Hooker. We've worked to pare this project down to a more manageable level. There's really not much else we could take out without impacting the quality of education that the kids can have, that we can do for them, the quality of the facility that the teachers will have to work in. And at the end of all of that, you have a facility that the community can look at and say, this is our school. We're proud of this place. It's good enough for our children to go here. Just like once upon a time, the folks in this community looked at this building and said, we've done something great for our kids. I think it's time to do something great for our kids again. I hope you'll come out and vote for the bond issue on October 13th.
The future is now. Do something great for our kids now. Do something great for the future of our community. Vote October 13th.